We're in conversation today with Mr. Anmol Jain, Managing Director, Lumax Auto Technologies. Mr. Jain, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, man.
So, want to understand from you the idea behind the acquisition that you've done recently into IAC, acquiring a majority 75% stake there. So, what was the thought behind, and how did you see, in terms of synergies with the existing business of Lumax Auto Technologies and what IAC had to offer? So, if you could explain that to me.
Sure. So, Mayank, I think Lumax Auto Technologies has always largely been a two and a three-wheeler player. And I think as a part of our long-term strategy, we were very clear that we would like to increase our wallet share in the passenger vehicle segment. Also, I think we wanted to play on our core competencies, which is mostly in plastics. And if you go down to the process, it's more of plastic injection, painting, as well as assembly. So we wanted to grow on our core competencies. And I always say that, this was a great opportunity how we could expand our footprint into the passenger vehicle space, given the fact that it's expanding also on our core competencies. So that's primarily the key reasons why we went into this. Number two, I think if you look at it globally, there is a lot of now integration between interior lighting and the interiors. So globally, if you start seeing the trends, let's say recently Faurecia bought over Hella globally. Also, Plastic Omnium bought over Visteon. So I think in India, we found that there is no strong player which can service OEMs both from a lighting as well as in the interior standpoint. So we also saw that as a huge opportunity to service our customers, giving them an integrated solution. And also in Lumax Auto Technologies, we have multiple products across different joint ventures, which do a lot of part level, let's say, production and engineering for parts for the interior system. This gives us an opportunity to not just cross-sell, but also to integrate everything and sell it as a module to the OEM. So those were largely the motivators for us to go ahead with this transaction.
Right. And what are these existing parts that you're supplying under LATL?
So we do like power window switches. We do the gear shifter where we are the market leaders. We do certain other, small plastic parts which go into the interior spaces on the dash or the door panels. So I think now it gives us an opportunity to move up the value chain to be integrated as a system supplier and not just a part supplier to our OEMs. And that's the synergies, apart from all the customer synergies, operational synergies, as well as sourcing synergies, because it is, again, similar to polymers and plastic business. So we want to expand that. And I think also co-engineering, co-developing could be one synergy which I look forward to, because IAC India has a very strong engineering team with almost 150 plus engineers with end-to-end capability in terms of product designing, development, as well as validation. So I think we can co-engineer a lot with respect to Lumax Auto Technologies and IAC India as well.
And would you believe that the timing is also right? Because, we are sort of seeing a transformation in the overall cabins of cars, with EVs coming in and with ambient lighting becoming one of the key features these days. So, there's also a sort of a disruption going on into the overall cabin of vehicles.
Correct. So I think the timing is very opportune. And I say it for a few reasons. Number one, passenger segment is a very buoyant segment with a very strong positive outlook in the foreseeable future. Number two, I think as the market is switching more and more towards SUVs, one of the largest customers of IAC India is Mahindra, which is hardcore into that domain of SUVs. Number three, I think when you say from a technology standpoint, yes, more and more electronic and digitization is happening. There is also a lot of regulations which is coming into play. For example, one of the door panels, which IAC India does, with the whole six airbag regulation coming in, that would also entail certain technological transformation. And I think apart from the passenger vehicle, I'm also very bullish and very positive on the commercial vehicle space. IAC India has presence in the commercial vehicle space. But I think as the infrastructure spent by the government is pushed forward, I personally feel that there is going to be a rapid transformation in the overall trucks which are made in India, more from the interior cabin comfort and technology standpoint. I think that transformation is yet to happen. So I think that's some great opportunity which lies ahead for IAC India as well in the coming times.
Right, absolutely. And in terms of the overall business opportunity, Mr. Jain, so what is the revenue that you have that you're already registering at LATL? And with this acquisition now, with IAC coming into your portfolio, where do you see it? How do you see it growing in the future?
So, I mean, LATL has had a very strong growth. If you look at the 9 months which we announced recently, I mean, it's grown significantly beyond what the industry has grown, and primarily because of aftermarket being a key segment for us at Lumax Technologies, and also the diversity of products and the OEMs which it enjoys, both in two-wheeler, passenger car space. This company, IAC India, of course, clocked revenues of about 470 odd crores in the 9 months of FY23. Last full year, FY22, they clocked 480 crores. So if you look at it from that perspective, this year you're already looking at a very strong growth. CY22, because IAC India traditionally was operating at a calendar year, I think they did a revenue of about 600 crores, and their margins are slightly better than what Lumax Auto Technologies has been operating at traditionally. So I think they have a strong order book. And of course, by the time the transaction is closed, probably next year, FY24 would be the first full year for us to consolidate the revenues and the profits. But, I think from a margin standpoint, it will help us expand our margins in line with always my long-term guidance of getting Lumax Auto Technologies more towards the teenage EBITDA. I always say it's the teen EBITDA is 13% plus, which is what our goal is. So I think this definitely helps us achieve that. And also, as I mentioned, a much healthier, diversified segment mix is what this entity would give. But from a revenue standpoint, right now we're looking at that. And of course, we will scale this up. Going forward, we will, try and expand our customer base. We will also try and improve our wallet share with a few of the existing customers. So all that synergies and cross-selling will obviously come into play once, the acquisition or not. Actually, I don't even call it acquisition. I call it inorganic partnership.
Okay.
Because Lumax is more about always collaborative approach and partnership.
Right.
So I tend to use that term a lot more. But I think once we're in the driving seat, then all these synergies will play out, and maybe we'll start working on a 3-year roadmap.
Right. So by what time do we see you coming in the driving seat?
I think if all goes well, sometime in March 2023, before the end of this financial, we should be able to close the transaction.
Right.
And then we will start afresh in terms of how we move forward in the next 3 years.
Right. And any other product areas, Mr. Jain, that you are eyeing within LATL to diversify further the business?
Man, we're always looking out for opportunities. I think our basic premise has been understand and follow the customer. And I think with the rapid transformation with respect to passenger vehicle and auto industry as a whole, I think there are multiple opportunities. Fortunately for Lumax Technologies, most our products are EV agnostic. So, it is irrespective of what powertrain and what it's run on, we are okay to service and capture those opportunities. But I think Lumax does have ambitions to get into EV critical components as well. And that's something which is still on the drawing board internally in terms of, what is our strategy and go to market in the EV space. So that's something which we feel should happen in the course in due course of time. Apart from that, I think we've always said that the 3 areas we want to expand under Lumax Auto Technologies has always been plastics, electronics, and mechatronics. And I think the future lies here. We did a recent joint venture with Lumax Alpine in the electronic space with the whole sensors and multiple other things. Mechatronics also, I think we have a few joint ventures there. But I personally feel that as the transition towards newer age technologies happen, these are the 3 verticals which we would like to invest and grow. Plastics clearly, be it interior plastics, be it under the hood plastics, be it also external plastics. I think with the whole lightweighting, there is a lot of opportunity that lies ahead in these 3 domains. And Lumax Technologies has largely been operating in these three domains historically. So yeah, we would want to expand on all three.
Right. And pressing you a bit on plastics. So, sustainability is a key topic these days, and, every company is sort of now mandated to work towards that. So, I mean, in terms of your R&D, are you working on some of these, developing newer solutions and, making plastics greener themselves? Because you're in a now with IAC coming on board as well, you're now in the core of the interior, which is largely plastics. So any development that you're doing on that side?
No, absolutely. I think we've already started taking baby steps on, that front with respect to our, not just engineering, but as a company overall. I think the sustainability is not just limited to product design or engineering, but I think sustainability is a much wider, used term, which I think cuts across the organization. So I think we've already started doing a lot of work on sustainability. Also with the whole IAC India, as well as the integration with IAC Global. IAC being a global company, I think they would perhaps be better positioned to understand and provide solutions towards sustainability. So I think there would be a lot of cross-learning as well. And I think, we look forward to working together with IAC Global teams in order to bring certain sustainable business models into India, not just in engineering, but also from the manufacturing standpoint.
Finally, Mr. Jain, your outlook on the growth outlook for this fiscal. I mean, we're just on the edge of closing this financial year, and also with IAC now coming on board. So for the next fiscal also, what sort of growth outlook do you have?
Well, the numbers, I mean, again, are just numbers, and right now I would not be in a position to give you a specific outlook, but I think I remain very bullish about next year prospects, both at an industry level. I think this year for passenger car has been historic, or will be historic in terms of production numbers. I think I still see a very strong pull from the retail counters. There is obviously still a lot of backlog, which most OEMs are sitting on, which means it's not a pent-up demand. I still feel that it's going to stay for at least the entire part of the next financial year, specifically on the passenger vehicle space. So I think two-wheeler, three-wheeler may still have certain, let's say, challenges with respect to demand. Commercial vehicle also, I think, has rebounded back very significantly. And I think in the next FY24, it will continue to have a strong momentum. So I think overall industry will continue to grow. Again, my guess is as best as yours in terms of what it would be the percentage of growth. But Lumax Technologies, along with, let's say, the whole IAC India piece consolidated, will obviously grow at a much, much faster rate next year. I think Lumax Technologies organically would have grown in a double-digit rate on the back of whatever I mentioned in terms of aftermarket, new joint ventures, etc. And I think with the IAC piece, obviously, this is going to be a significant move in terms of bringing it up. I mean, give or take annualized 600 crore CY22, which, IAC India did, is close to, give or take 30%, 25-30% of Lumax Auto Technologies consolidated annual revenues. So from that perspective, there will be a strong shift in FY24 anyways.
Right. Absolutely. And wish you all the best with this going forward, Mr. Jain. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, man. Thank you. All the best. Thanks.